Hey there, my name is Chris Mango, and I'm the creator of Mango Mischief, a satirical, retro-style JRPG that's available for PC on Steam. If you're watching this video, you're about to see me playing my own game, showing off shortcuts and going into detail about the development process and intentions with essentially every aspect of Mango Mischief. So I think it's fair to say spoiler alert. If you'd like to play my game before watching this, the Steam link is in the description. I hope you enjoy my playthrough and commentary. Alright, episode 19. This episode we're going to have a nice, easy, relaxing, just kidding, we're about to verse pretty much all the hardest monsters in the game. As you can see here in Post-Game Palace, Floor 2, we've got 16 spirals. We already beat one, the End Flame, based on the Everflame enemies. We're going to go through probably the other 14 of the other 15 remaining spirals. We'll do 1 through 15 today. 16 will take a while. I think next episode will be the final episode, where we do 16, as well as some other cleanup post-game content, and then the final battle, because there is one more battle after Spiral 16. Okay, I'm not going to be leaving Post-Game Palace at all. Maybe I'll go down to Floor 1 if I need to get more items. But without further ado, let's get started with the first spiral in the top left column. In the top left corner, really. There's 2 empty ribbon slots I see down here. I might end up filling those in along the way. And I might need to rotate out some of my necklaces if there's a specific element I want to protect against, or a talisman if there's a specific ailment, status ailment I know that's coming. I could also buy HP maxi amulets instead of mini amulets. So that'd be kind of nice to have everyone have a maxi amulet instead of just Marion. But let's get started. I'm ultimate level, so at least now the battles will be possible. If you're still only Omega level, it's going to be incredibly hard to beat any of these other enemies, although I did show at the end of last episode a nice kind of shortcut strategy to very quickly beat Spiral number 3. Let's get started here. This guy's going to do a good amount of damage. One of the most important skills to use in all of these battles is going to be Train Platoon. It gives you guard. It gives the entire team guard for 3 turns, which means you're essentially taking half damage. I don't think Death by a Dozen Cuts will do a lot of damage. Let's see. Not great, but I mean it's something. It hit about a 1/10 or so. I don't think Alacrity will do much, so instead I'm going to use a Chimera Pack to buff the heck out of all my allies further. In this kind of post-game situation, you really might want to consider taking the extra 1 or 2 or 3 turns to really make sure you're super buffed and potentially your enemy is super debuffed if possible. I don't think debuffs work too well on this specific enemy, but it never hurts to try. By the way, his agility is so high he goes twice in a row in many cases. So being able to guard is super important. Let's actually sacrifice some HP now, because my next move with Iraq is going to be to heal the heck out of everyone. So what's the maximum amount of damage I can do? This Black Zofuri, I believe that is its name, is not weak to any elements at all, so we've got to take that into consideration. Let's triple recoil. Again, losing some HP. This enemy is a reference to the first enemies you ever experienced in the game. Maxi heal all should be great, especially since my magic attack is up. Look at that, almost 30,000 health. Since my magic attack is boosted, I get to heal even more. But this enemy here is a reference to the little colored Zuffies and Zoofers that we fought at the very, very beginning of the game, way back before we had partied up when we were each fighting solo, and before we even got things like gold and items as rewards from battle. I might be able to finish the battle here, which would be really nice. Some of these battles will be relatively quick, because I know some pretty good strategies. Some other battles will not be so quick. I'm getting 50,000 gold from that spiral. In fact, I get 50,000 gold from each of the top 4 spirals. And we get a good amount of experience. You'll see I leveled up from level 1 to level 2. If you're leveling up your ultimate classes, this is not only the best place to level up, but it might actually be the only good place to level up. I'm going to take a look at my talismans here, because I know there are a couple different weird status ailments coming up in the next battle. They're all based off of the Old Providence Town basement cave enemies, the ones like the imps and the vampires and the succubi before I versed the Flesher and the Cerberus. So I'd like to see if I could stop myself from being charmed, because I know charm is one of the things I need to watch out for. I don't think silence is going to be one. Let's see, charm. Marion is... We've got rage. I don't think rage is going to be an issue in this specific fight, but paralysis might be. All of the ailments that these next enemies will use, all the next ailments, are ones that were possible in the Old Providence basement cave. For example, I believe all the way back then the skeletons could have cast paralysis, or maybe it was the zombies, one of those. I'm also going to save between every single battle, because any one of these battles could go sideways. I do like the fact that I have full TP again. Again, train platoon, super important. Maybe Alacrity can do some good work too. See, even with my necklaces, Sprig got paralyzed. Sprig was protected from charm. Let's see what we can do here. Let's start with... I'm going to use Stratagem to increase all of our agilities. I'm going to use Alacrity to try to mess with them. Okay, that worked out pretty well. Double charm, double rage. I'm liking that a lot. Some poison. As far as Sprig goes, Sprig's kind of in a little bit of trouble here. Let's do Train Platoon. He is paralyzed, so that might kick in, preventing Train Platoon from happening. That's exactly what happened. But Arak, thankfully, is not paralyzed, and so he can use Citadel to remove all of our status elements and debuffs. So it looks like Mero's going to get to go again. Since Mero's going to get to go again, I'm going to ask myself, what moves can I take here? I don't want to get rid of the charm just yet, because they're about to all go. I'd rather have them hit each other. Let's see if Calliophis will work. Calliophis? He's already poisoned, but no one else is. So if I could get like one more poison, that'd be good. That'll do a good job of taking off a chunk of damage. I see that I think all of them might have just gotten poisoned. I'm looking at the green poison icon as the icons rotate through. So I don't have Train Platoon up yet. I want to make sure I get that down. I can't afford Chimera Pack because I don't have enough TP at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I am going to... Let's see. Maybe we do something like lower all their physical defense. And then let's start focusing down with some physical attacks. Physical defense is lowered. I'm looking for the orange shield lowering. So they actually all have lower physical defense. So maybe I do something like Extinction. I'm going to lose some HP, but that's okay. The charm is going to be gone, but dealing 3,000-4,000 damage isn't bad. Maybe I do... I don't think I'm in any danger of dying just yet. Let's see if we can do some more damage. Pandemoctium does a massive amount of damage, which is more than your typical strong damage. And it also uses all 8 elements, which can be good or can be bad depending on any elemental weaknesses or strengths. So if anyone gets healed by elements, Pandemoctium will actually heal them, so you need to be careful. But if they're weak against any, that could exploit it. This I'm just using for the massive amount of damage it's going to do. It's about the hardest hitting regular attack that Arak is going to be able to use. As far as Marion goes, let's do double recoil. I don't want to lose all of my HP because they are going to get to go again. And looks like Mero has enough TP again so we could use Chimera Pack. But let's use Pandemoctium. Let's focus on the offensive. I don't think I'll kill anyone right now, but at least we'll get a lot of damage in there. Now keep in mind, their rage, which is great, because their rage means they're only going to hit one person, not 2 or 3 or 4 if their normal attack would do so. That last one, this Boneblader C here, not A, B, or D, but Boneblader C, had that weird silenced attack that they default to if they are silenced, so you don't have to worry about getting status ailmented if they're just using silenced attacks. Nutrislot could be a good way to just hit everyone. We're actually doing pretty well here. I can use Pandemoctium one more time. Let's go for it. Let's see if we can take out at least one of these enemies. The poison has been helping, by the way, pretty significantly. Muted Massacre is the silence attack. And since he also had Rage, the Muted Massacre, which usually hits 4 times, only hit once. Let's just use Pandemoctium again. That's kind of overkill. Hopefully we don't miss. Okay. That's 2 down. I mean 3 if you include the last spiral. 3 if you include this spiral from last episode. We're going to heal every single time. And then we're going to keep moving on. Going to save, again, between every single one. For this one, since I know I'm about to verse another captain, I want some water necklaces. I'm going to do something kind of risky. I'm not sure if it'll pay off, but it's worth trying out. This next battle is very similar to the captain battle back in the day when we had to win the ship. I think I'm going to also... I'm wondering whether or not I should use a different weapon. I mean, these weapons are so good, and the elemental damage is reduced by 25%. But is this one reduced by more? Oh no, it's still 25%. Okay. I thought maybe if I was reducing by 50% here, I might want to switch back. But it seems that these ultimate auras really can't be beat. I'm not too worried about different status ailments here, but I am worried about surviving a bunch of tsunamis. So these enemies are weak against water back here. I'm sorry, they are water type, so they're weak against fire. This one is, I think, electric, as you can see by the attacks they're using. And this one, I think, is wind, the parrot. So if I use something like Octagony, Sprig and Marion get Octagony, again, 8 and Agony, while Mero and Arak had Pandemoctium, like Pandemonium, but 8. This will exploit all their weaknesses, even though they've got different weaknesses. Water weak to fire, thunder weak to ice, wind weak to earth. But what I'm really concerned about is the fact that I purposely left the other captain's magic defense and physical defense very low. So he might get one-shotted right now, which might be a problem, because I think every 5%, maybe 10%, but I think every 5% of HP lost, he auto-casts Tsunami. So he's going to cast a ton of Tsunamis right about now, whether or not the other captain dies. So I need to just stay alive, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Let's see what happens. Look at all these Tsunamis. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to survive all the auto Tsunamis. One alternative is to do Train Platoon before dealing with this, or using Mero's Chimera Pack before doing this, because that would ensure that I'll be able to last this long. I actually don't know how many Tsunamis are left. It might just completely wipe out my party, which is why we save after every single battle, or before every single battle. Wow. Did not know that was going to work out the way it did. Pandemoctium, by the way, has a short charging period, kind of like Marion's other attacks, like Elite Beat or Opportunism. So sometimes you'll see that the person using an Octal attack might need to wait a little bit longer. But that worked out really, really well. I say here, I'm really not worried about dying. Because Arak is going to be able to use... See how Sprig had to wait now. But Arak's going to use, obviously, Maxi Heal All, just to get us all back to full health, or mostly full health. There we go, full health. The rest of them can do a decent amount of damage, but Tsunami was the main kind of trick here. Sonic Scratch, you can see some Thunder. Scurvy. I think Scurvy has the capacity to poison. Like, back in the other captain fight. And let's just focus on doing as much damage as possible. How else can I do damage here? Neutral Slot can hit everyone. Hopefully it knocks out the parrot, almost. First mate, first monkey, first parrot. I'm confident that this parrot's going to die, so maybe I use something like an ice spell, because I think it'll be super effective against the monkey. Okay. As far as Arak goes, let's do something like... let's just use all of our MP on things like Octagony. Fire Chaos or Righteous Flames? Let's kill off this monkey. I guess in theory maybe I should use like a quad attack or something, but let's see how much damage we do to this first mate. Alright, almost over. Triple recoil. Again, we can sacrifice all the MP and HP we need as long as we get that W, as long as we get the win. we can always heal directly after. These battles are not designed for you to do back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back without healing. Let's just keep going in order. I just got a heal from leveling up. I'm level 3 now, so I'm going to do my save. And now we're going to move on to Spiral 5. For this one, since I'm about to verse a lot of ice bunnies, I'm going to use some ice necklaces now. We should have 4 of each type of necklace, so we take less damage. Now that being said, the ice damage isn't the biggest issue with this specific fight. This specific fight's biggest issue is the fact that the bunnies also sap or have the capacity to sap magic points, so it might be the case that I run out of MP really fast. So what I'd like to do now is I'm going to start off with Octagony, just to deal some damage, before I do Alacrity, which will hopefully distract them or mess them up enough. That way they can't all attack me over the next, 8 turns. So we got some Charm, Paralysis, Confusion. Look at this, 1000 MP, getting knocked out right off the bat. So each of them can sap like 1000 MP at a time, which is a pretty big deal considering I only have around 2000 MP. Now he Tragic Magicked his own teammate because he was charmed. Ice Slice is the ice damage that I alluded to before. I'm not really worried about the HP loss, I'm more worried about the MP loss here. What else can we do? Let's do Extinction. We just want to knock out all of these enemies as soon as possible. We're doing some good damage there, 4,000. Let's do another Pandemoctium. All of these attacks I'm using, for the most part, are the Omega level 10 attacks. So we're really trying to deal a ton of damage. Technoslot or Nutrislot. I don't think it really matters. And let's use Brontomancy, because they're all ice type. This should do good damage. 5,000, 6,000. So they're all over halfway dead. Or basically halfway dead. As long as I still have a little bit more magic point, a little bit more MP, that's fine. Arak's almost dead, which could be a little bit of a problem. Okay, so we survived that. Extinction or Octagony. Maybe I don't want to sacrifice more health just yet. Maybe I want to focus on restoring just Arak's health. Because Arak doesn't have that much MP, so I'll have to be kind of careful here. I can't just use like Maxi Heal All or Medi Heal All. I'll have to use like Maxi Heal just singularly. 4 MP left. And that's kind of fine because I'm hoping that these bunnies will attack either Marion's MP or Arak's MP. Because they're already gone. With MP gone, there's a couple things I can do. I can do things like Devastation. It won't be super effective. It does a couple thousand points of damage. I'm just hoping that Marrow can get off another good Brontomancy here that really lowers the health of most characters. Muted Massacre is fine, I can take those. I'd love Sprig and Marrow to still be able to use magic. We'll have to see what happens. Paralysis still helping out. Rage can help. That MP lowering didn't matter. Alright, let's see. We're running low on a lot of things. We're going to use Extinction. Obviously, you can play more conservatively than this, but this is one battle where... What else can I do? Can I do anything? Technoslash. Let's see if I can kill off this one. Okay. This is the type of battle where playing conservatively and slowly might not be your best option in terms of like Train Platoon, because yeah, you won't take as much HP damage, but you'll still lose magic points. And look how low we are in magic points. Tragic Magic is what I'm worried about in general. If Marrow has enough for another Brontomancy, that should be fine. So I'm keeping an eye mostly on Marrow's magic. Alright, well, Marrow's the only one left with magic. Let's see how this works out. Now, to be fair, worst case scenario, I can do things like using a magic right now on whoever I need. So let's do that just to be safe. Meta Magic all. So now everyone's got some magic. Everyone can do an attack again. So you just kind of wait for when 2 or 3 or 4 of you are all about to attack back to back to back. Just have the first person in line heal everyone else's magic, and then everyone else can actually do an attack. So Extinction, good damage there, and Brontomancy all might finish him off. Nice. Not too much trouble yet. Notice we're still leveling up reasonably well. Final level is level 10. And by the way, every time you level up in an ultimate class, you don't just get like a single stat up item. You get a way up item, and you get 2 of them. So I believe, for example, Marion gets an agility way up and a luck way up item. Both of them, to use on any allies that she wants. So you'll see here we're going to be getting, for the next level, we'll get 1 more of each. 2 from each character. So we can definitely use those as well. In fact, I'll just wait 1 more round before I use them. Now we're moving on to Spiral 6. Spiral 6 will be, I think, another reference to the Hidden Haven Dragon, the Vulcanized dragon that had multiple forms. I don't know if there's too much I need to protect myself from right now, but given how I think that they use water, wind... I think they use water, wind, and thunder. Or it uses water, wind, and thunder. So I'm going to use a water necklace. I don't think this is that big of a deal. I don't think I need to worry too much about status ailments either. I think I just need to do a lot of damage, and I think they hit pretty hard. Okay, here's the dragon again. So lightning damage, didn't get the necklace one there, but I think eventually we'll use some water. Alright, let's do our kind of safe setup here. There's no weird curveballs in this battle. Let's use Stratagem. Let's boost our speed. Obviously, if Mero's going to use Chimera Pack next, that's going to include boosting agility. But let's try Alacrity. Let's see if we can do any sort of debuffs or status ailments to this enemy. So it looks like we only got away with a lower magic defense. Lower magic defense isn't bad, but it seems that Typhoonder here, which is very similar to the Vulcanized Dragon in Hidden Haven, isn't really affected by status ailments all that much. So let's do something like increasing magic attack, so we can kind of double benefit here. We have the magic attack buff on our side, and the magic defense debuff on Typhoonder's side. So let's see what kind of magic attacks we can use. I'm pretty sure these are not going to be effective at all. They might even heal. So maybe I just stick to something like triple recoil to just do a lot of damage, or as much damage as I potentially can. Maybe here we use something like... Well, I guess let's see how much damage something like an ice move can do. That's not bad. I think Sprig is going to be the main damage dealer here, as far as magic goes. Well, maybe about the same as Mara. And here, Nutriquad is pretty good. Now, I know Marion's about to die. Let's see how well we do with just 3 people alive. Nutriquad is a very, very good, really just neutral attack that's just all around good. Marion lived for some reason. Okay, so I'm just going to have Marion heal herself. Mainly because Marion seems to be less useful, or at least least useful, in this specific battle, where everyone else can do a decent amount of damage, either exploiting an ice, fire, or earth weakness, or just doing hardcore neutral magic attack damage, because Iraq, like Mero, has pretty high magic attack. So let's just stick with things like Nutriquad. Marion's going to be on healing duty, because as you can see, Train Platoon is pretty much dropping right now. They've got maybe 1 guard left, if not 0. So let's just use something like Maxi Tonic All. We have all the items we could possibly need. We're pretty much maxed on items, and we could always just go downstairs to get more. So this seems to be a reasonable approach to this battle right now. There's the water damage, which was reduced. Let's just keep using this. Nutriquad, Ice Chaos. I could have used any one of the Fire Chaos, Earth Chaos, or Ice Chaos that Sprig has. And what could we do here? We could increase the agility. Maybe that'll help us a little bit. You might also notice that we have some debuffs, because Typhoonder's attacks also potentially cast debuffs, like lowering magic defense, lowering speed, or agility, lowering luck. But it looks like we're still going to get to go enough times to do some damage. Less damage than normal. What else can we do here? I don't know if Death by Doesn't Cut is going to be any good. Not really worth it. It's worth trying. Let's use NutriQuad again. I don't know if it'll kill, but it'll certainly knock him down to in danger of dying pretty much next round. I don't know if Typhooner's going to get to go again before the next 4 allies. Okay, we're just pretty much guaranteed to win at this point. Let's do Bullseye, because it's guaranteed to hit. And let's finish off with Cryomancy, and if not, we've got some Chaoses. Alright, that's another victory for us. We're going to hit level 5? No. 50,000 gold to pan again. A lot of 50,000 golds. If you're ever unsure about how much gold or experience you'll get from these enemies, you can always click on a spiral again, and it'll ask if you want to fight the battle again. Do you wish to fight Typhoonder again? Each time you're victorious here, you'll earn, in this case, you'll win 4 million experience and 50,000 gold. We are not going to replay these battles. We don't need to. If you do need to grind some levels, Spiral 3 is the way to go. Use that cheat death shortcut that I showed you at the end of last episode, just so you can win in like 60 seconds. Next up, Spiral 7. Spiral 7, we're going to use some Silence Talismans. Because oh, do we only have 2 Silence Talismans? Oh, okay. I'm going to make sure that we get enough talismans for everyone. It's definitely worth it. Rare armor? Scrolling down. Okay, talismans. I'm looking over here at my possession. I have 2. I don't really care too much about poison, but let's just make sure we have 4 of everything. Silence talismans, we'll need 2. Rage talismans. Now, these possessions might not include the ones I'm wearing right now, so I might end up actually picking more than I need, but that's fine. Doesn't really matter. As far as necklaces go, I know we've got 4 of everything. Let's get 3 more HP Maxi Amulets before I forget. And let's get 2 more HP Ribbons. You can technically just have a maximum of 10 of one of these. So you can have, like, you can buy 10 Ribbon of Regen HPs, which might sound a little annoying because let's say you want to equip all 4 of these allies with Ribbons of Regen HP. Let's say you want, like, 3, 3, 3, and 3. That would require 12 Ribbons of Regen HP, but you can only buy 10, right? However, if you're equipping them, you can buy more. So it's a little bit of an exploit if you're interested in doing that. If Sprig has on a couple Ribbon of Regen HPs already, those don't count towards your quote-unquote 10 max, because it's 10 maximum in your inventory, and if you're equipping, it doesn't count like that. So if Sprig has 3 Ribbon of Regen HPs, you could buy 9 more Ribbon of Regen HPs to place on Marion, Mara, and Iraq. So technically you'll own 12. You just won't have 12 in your inventory at any one time. And you actually need to be careful, because the risk with that is, if you unequip them, they literally disappear. If you unequip Sprig's 3 Ribbons of Regen HP, so that in theory all 12 are in your inventory, 2 of them will be gone. You'll stay at your max of 10, and you will just have lost 2 ribbons. So there's a little bit of a way to abuse that situation, but don't get too greedy, or just be very, very careful with that situation. Maxi Amulet time. Maxi Amulet, Maxi Amulet, Maxi Amulet, and Silence Talisman. Maxi Amulet and Silence Talisman. Oops, there we go. So let's make sure we're good now. We have Maxi Amulets and Silence Talismans for everyone. Now we're going to head back up. And you'll see why it was so useful to have exactly this setup. You don't have to have the identical setup to me. I've just found pretty useful strategies and all. This slime should seem familiar. Keeps using Pandemoctium, by the way. This is Sebastian Alistair von Cedric III in Cedar Slimes, right in front of Goo Grotto. This individual, just like King Camouflagel, that slime that kept switching colors, this slime will too. However, if you use any incorrect element, he will get healed. So, for example, he's Ice type right now. So if I use Ice type, he gets healed. If I use, well, see, Thunder is what I'm going to want to use. If I use Water type, he gets healed. Every other element he's going to get healed. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to Chimera Pack myself. Now, I can use NutriQuad, though, because this is non-elemental damage. I don't want to use Pandemoctio, because, yes, I'll be doing Thunder damage, but if any element restores HP, that's the element that takes preference. So he'll be restoring a lot. Actually, let me just show you. Let's just waste the MP. Oh, he gets to attack first, because I have the charging up. Watch this. So he just got healed 12,000 HP, and that's because of the other 7 elements that he gets absorbed, that he can absorb. So let's play this a little bit safer. Train Platoon. We want to focus on doing Thunder damage. So Thunder Chaos is kind of my go-to here, along with Mero's Brontomancy. Cut Throats. That's the reason why I've been using my why I put on Silence Talismans, why it was so important. Because in each of the 8 stages of this fight, as soon as this enemy drops from 100% HP to 99% HP, once it takes the first hit, it automatically casts Cutthroats, which will silence all of your enemies, or all of your allies, unless you are immune to silence. Other than that, he's going to keep using Pandemoctium, or I think maybe there's another, like a buff or debuff option he might use. But for the time being, I just want to make sure I don't get silenced, and that I keep an eye on my HP. In this battle, I think Sprig's going to be doing more of the healing, because Marion's going to be using the Thunder Chaos. Oh, not the Thunder Chaos. Let's pay attention, Chris. Dark. Marion, Mero, and Arak can be using dark elements, which is why there's the Cutthroats, which is why Sprig's going to be on healing duty for now. Bewitch is the thing that can lower, I think, magic defense. Yeah, there's a lower of magic defense. And obviously, Arak was made for this battle right here with Umbra Quad. Good damage right there. Same with Luma Quad, which we'll be using next if we need it. Overkill there, but who cares? For dark attacks, Sprig can use Light Chaos. I do realize I'm about to lose my guarding through Train Platoon, but that's okay. There's the instant Cutthroats, because he took his first hit. Bewitch lowering my magic defense. Marion doesn't have something that can immediately do good damage. I mean, she could use, like, Nutra Slash. But remember, magic is ideal as opposed to physical against slimes anyway. So, is there anything else I can use? I can increase luck, I can increase agility, I can attempt to debuff the enemy. I want to make sure I don't use Umbra Coda. That would be a very bad move to heal him quite a bit. Alright, nice. Now, I don't want to use Light or Dark, so I'm going to go back to using a neutral attack here. You'll see again, he's going to instantly use Cutthroats. That's okay, it's not going to silence us, we can still get off some other moves. There's the second attack for NutriQuad, the third attack for NutriQuad, and the fourth attack for NutriQuad. Pandemoctium is going to do a little bit of damage, because Train Platoon isn't on. Let's see, we've got... this is Wind, so we want to use Earth. Since the enemy's Pandemoctium has every element, we're not going to take as much damage because we have literally any elemental necklace on, which is kind of convenient. We get to enjoy the same situation that this enemy does too. Neutral Chaos? Probably not that worthwhile. Alright, 2,000 damage, just about. And again, we want to stick with Geomancy. I don't know if this will finish him off. Not quite. But again, we've got NutriQuad. And yes, obviously, as you can see here, the extra, like, 3rd or 4th hits are wasted. They don't just automatically move on to the next one. The next color. So now we've got the Thunder version, which means this is a job for Ice. I don't think we need to train Platoon. We don't need to waste a turn. Cutthroats will have no effect. A lot of these battles are not intended for you to necessarily win on the first try. I mean, if you're super strong, that's awesome. But at the same time, you might end up playing the battle once or twice just to get a feel for what kind of tricks you have to keep an eye out for. I can use regular physical attacks with Sprig and with any of them, actually, if I want to. Might not do that much damage, but at least it won't be an elemental type that'll heal the enemy, because all my ultimate weapons, all the ultimate aura weapons, do not have an elemental, an element imbued upon it. Ice Chaos should finish off this version. I have no idea how many colors we've played through already, but there are 8 in all, obviously. 1 for each element. Here's water, so we want to use fire. Note the difference between the dark blue original color and this light blue version. It might be a little bit not so easy to tell. And same sometimes with earth and fire. Earth is more orangey, whereas fire is kind of a deeper red, but it's not impossible. It wouldn't be completely surprising to confuse the two. Of course, when we're talking about the colors, we're not talking about the color of the hat or the staff or anything like that. We're only talking about the color of the slime, Alistair himself. Stick to Bullseye. Pyromancy. Alright, this I think is the Earth one. This is the orangey one. Okay, I don't think I'm going to get killed next turn. I'll have Sprig do the healing. Although we didn't really take any damage there. We're making some pretty good time here. Alright, there's some damage. Sprig can't really exploit the elemental weaknesses here, so Sprig is going to be on healing duty. We can always buy more items downstairs. Marion can exploit the wind weakness here. Wind weakness. Nutriquad. I could use one of Iraq's turns to use Ascendancy to raise everyone's magic attack. There's the fire. I think fire might be last. I always have, whether it's Sebastian Alistair von Cedric III, this enemy, or King Camouflagel in the Gugrada, I always have them inching closer and closer, just to kind of show that you're making progress. What should we do? Maybe... let's just play it safe at this point. Train Private. I meant to use Train Platoon. That was my mistake. No reason to only guard one of your allies. Bewitched also seems to be automatic as well, just like Cutthroats. Hydromancy, so we'll stick to the pro-water anti-fire moves. Nutriquad again. Two less damage there. 4,000 HP damage versus 2,000 HP damage because Iraq had guard on. At this point, I'm just going to say let's just start doing some damage. Can't use double or triple recoil. That's a little frustrating. Let's just use Execution. Just to deal some damage. That's pretty good damage, actually. I keep forgetting that since we are ultimate level, our strong attacks are still way stronger than usual. We do have the right weapon and the right class. Level 5. No skills learned until level 10. There's one final ultimate skill that each ally will end up unlocking. I'm not sure if I'm going to even get to level 10 before the game's over, but we'll see. Spiral 8. Spiral 8, I think we're going to need some... Actually, you know what? This might be fine. You know what? Let's just roll with it and see what happens. You can, by the way, you can escape these battles if you need to. You can attempt to fight for 1 or 2 rounds, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess it's not going to work out too well. You can always escape. Light and Dark are going to be the go-tos here. We're going to throw Train Platoon on just to be safe, because we can take a good amount of damage. I don't know how well Dark Chaos and Light Chaos will be, but certainly the Codas and the Quads are going to be doing a major amount of damage here. The brunt of the damage will be done by Mero and Iraq here, as you can see right now. This enemy is Light type, as you can see by the gray, and Dark type, as you can see by the purple. Light is weak to Dark, Dark is weak to Light, so you can use both of those. Let's see, what else? I don't think Death by Dozen Cuts will do too well, but let's see. Death by Dozen Cuts had no effect. The defense was just simply too high. What about something like Bullseye? Not great. So it's going to be mostly making sure Mero and Arak can just keep attacking. So maybe like for Marion, I'll end up using an increase of agility or an increase of luck. With Sprig, I'll have him on like permanent train platoon and maybe HP healing duty. If you haven't figured it out by now, each of the enemies, or each of the battles in rows 2 and 3 are relevant to the 8, or references to the 8 medallion dungeons. So, for example, this is a Cricket Thicket reference with all the insects. We had to verse the Centipede Queen with Arak. Now we're versing the Dragonfly Dragon. Obviously, the last one was related to Gugrata with the slimes. And then we also had Hidden Haven before that. And Blizzard Blooms was the beginning of this row with those 8 ice bunnies. And then the each of these is for the left medallion half, and then row 3 will be for the right medallion half, where again we'll have a reference to the strength, then skill, then soul, then sage dungeons. Let's just play it safe. There's really no downside to just doing this, to just using a healing item from time to time. Missing isn't that great. Alright, under a quarter health. I think this enemy only uses Pesticide, which I'm kind of fine with. What else was I going to say? Just like every other insect, this enemy hits himself. So remember, all the other insects just had crazy attacks that hit essentially everyone. Let's double recoil. Let's see if we can do enough damage to finish him off. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it doesn't really matter if Sprig dies at this point. Like, it's correct that Sprig won't be able to cast Train Platoon again, but he's going to be dead next round anyway. So Sprig might fall here, and that's fine. Let's do Bullseye. That's something. Pesticide again. He killed himself. Perfect. Okay. So, 2 rows down. 9, 10, 11, and 12 are also going to be references to medallion pieces, just like 5, 6, 7, 8 were. So now we're going to be doing Spiral 9. Spiral 9 is going to be a reference to... Let me just see to make sure we're good. Yeah, I think we're equipped as much as possible. It's going to be a reference to Welmhelm Realm, with the whole veterinarian situation and the dogs and cats that were in the pens or the zoos. These were the knights that blocked, or that were guarding each of the 8 pens. They were like fire enchanted, water enchanted, each of the 8 elements. This one is not any sort of special enchantment, but we still have to use lots of physical damage. If you remember from that dungeon, it was all about hitting physically and not really getting to do too much magically. Train Platoon is pretty much necessary. Because especially if this, I think it's a Night Knight, if the Night Knight hits the same character like 2 or 3 times, like, you're really going to take a ton of damage. Let's do... You can, like, loot body if you want to, but you're not really going to get much out of that. I'm wondering if the agility will be slowed. It did work that way. The reason I was focusing on that in particular is because Mero is not going to use Alacrity here. Mero is going to use Chimera Pack, just to boost all of my allies. And then here, let's do... I'm already fully healed. I mean, fully buffed. Maybe we do something like Maxi Thwack? That's good damage. I mean, he's got like 200,000 HP. But those attacks are not super terrifying at the moment. He will use his attack twice, though. Or he will get to attack twice. So, Death by a Dozen Cuts... Well, let's just see how this works first. Okay. Remember, Death by a Dozen Cuts and the recoil attacks were really good in Welmhelm Realm. So I'm going to use Death by a Dozen Cuts again. I like that I don't need to sacrifice HP when using Death by a Dozen Cuts, as opposed to like my recoil attacks. Maxi Thwack again. And I think I might actually keep Iraq on healing duty. Just because as soon as the trained platoon drops, as soon as the guard drops, he's going to start doing more serious damage. And I need to make sure that I'm kind of equipped one way or another. Alright, I'm going to play a little risky here and drop the trained platoon. Because now I'm pretty sure after Mero and Iraq's next turn, they won't have the guard status on. So just for comparison's sake, we'll see what this looks like when they're taking regular damage. So Mero and Iraq are going to take regular damage. 4,000 as opposed to 2,000. You'll see like the guarded exclamation point comes out when they are actually guarding. So we're going to go back to train platoon. Because I don't want to take 10, 15,000 points of damage. And now that we're guarded again, we can go back to kind of playing it safe and doing 1,000 times 12 damage. Obviously, boosting yourself can be helpful. Debuffing the other team can be helpful. Mero just got focused there big time. If Mero gets focused again, that might be an issue. Okay. RNG was kind of kind to us. Actually, I should have actually used triple recoil here. I'm going to use I'll use triple recoil here, because I'm going to be healing Mero anyway, so I might as well... It actually does pretty much the same amount of damage. I was going to say, since I'm going to heal Mero anyway, I might as well heal Marion and Sprig, so why not use recoil attacks? But then, as I'm working through that, I'm realizing that that whether I'm using the recoil attacks or the Death by a Dozen Cuts, I seem to be doing the same amount of damage. So I might as well just stick to Death by a Dozen Cuts, that way I'm not lowering my HP. Alright, Marion got knocked out. Almost. That would have been pretty much because I got greedy while using a recoil attack. So I'm going to have Iraq heal Marion, obviously. And I'm seeing that we're going to drop the guard for a little bit, and that's fine. It's almost at a quarter health. Let's maxi heal. Because there's a huge difference in MP. Like, you can only use maxi heal all so many times before you really run out of HP. Or before you really run out of magic points. Now, of course, if you have a certain ribbon, you can get some magic points back. This is full-on damage because my guard has been dropped. I was hoping Sprig would get focused more, because he had the most HP and he was on his guard, but it didn't really work out that way. Obviously, RNG can be very unkind to you, and really cause quite a few KOs in battles like these. I am getting pretty lucky in terms of RNG, in terms of just like who's randomly taking the hits and who's not. We're going to do meta heal all. I know Mero still isn't going to be at full health, but I think we might be able to outlast that because Mero's on her guard now. And he seems to have an affinity for Sprig this time. Wow, alright, so Mero got hit 0 times there. And now I'm running low on magic points. I have to be very careful. I can do things like Siphon Magic. Deal physical damage. It's just a regular hit, so it might not do much at all. But for whatever damage I do end up doing, if I do damage, I'll get 50% of it back as magic points. So let's see if I do any damage. Cool. Did 2,000 damage, got 1,000 magic points back. That's a pretty good use of both of those, actually. I needed magic points, and I needed to get healed. And I needed to still deal damage. Let's play it safe and meta heal Sprig. We're still all on our guard, which is good. I like the equal distribution of damage. That is fantastic. That means it's a lot easier to heal. It means no one's like super about to die right this second. In fact, I'm just gonna... I could have used Train Platoon again, but even if like one of my allies ends up dying next turn, I'm still going to be more than fine. And we might actually just win right now, I'm not sure. There's nothing stronger than Maxi Thwack right now, I don't think. You can always try using, like, a quad, like Nutra-Quad, but again, the magic attacks don't really do that much compared to the physical attacks with this Night-Night. Alright, 50,000 gold obtained again, and you can again check. Do you wish to fight? 4 million experience, 50,000 gold. We're not going to play it again, but we get the heals. We're almost at level 6. Now we move on to Spiral 10. Each of the 8 enemies here has an element or ailment, or element and ailment, I think. This is just going to be a pretty long battle, I think. This is a reference to Talent Tower. We're going to be versing pairs of enemies. We start with a fire and water, and then every time you kill one, they'll be replaced by another. Fire, then water, then earth, then wind, then ice, then thunder, then light, then dark. It might not be super obvious what the elements are, but at the same time, each one is highlighted, even though they're mostly black. Each one is highlighted with a little bit of elemental color to give away exactly what type they are. We're going to start with Train Platoon. The first six enemies are definitely weaker than the last 2, so you don't want to get kind of lulled into a false sense of security and being like, oh, this is really, really easy, and then get hit by a lot of critical hits or something. Just doing Pandemoctium with everyone, just to make sure I exploit both weaknesses. Both elemental weaknesses. So the fact that Octagony and Pandemoctium includes water and includes fire means it is super effective against both enemies here. Do keep in mind, though, it saps a lot of magic. Now, that might be something you're okay with doing. Like, if you just want to use the Octagony and Pandemoctium attacks and just keep replenishing magic points, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Like, let's see how long I can do this for before it becomes not really feasible. Like, we can knock out these 2 pretty fast. At the expense of pretty much all our magic points. I'm glad that actually lined up nicely. Both died at the same time. Usually it doesn't happen. So, I want to take into consideration things like Train Platoon requires 500 magic points. I can't use Train Platoon right now. That's a problem. Especially because we're about to drop our guard. So I need to be very careful with the moves I make in the future. Let's do another Siphon Magic situation. Let's focus on this snake here, because he has lower HP. Didn't do damage. Didn't do damage. Let's use... Let's see, how can I be smart about this? I've got no magic points, so let's give everyone magic points back. You can only do 1,000 at a time, keep in mind. Obviously, if you have a ribbon, it will be higher. Let's see if I can use Alacrity to mess with them. I'm not sure if you can mess with them too much. Well, I'm clearly wrong, because they can get debuffed and status ailmented pretty easily. This buys me some time. Killagon is not going to be attacking. Kagomasha is potentially paralyzed. Each of the 8 elements, by the way, I won't go into detail on all of their name references, but each of the 8 enemies in this battle have names that are a portmanteau, a combination, of 2 characters from either the same anime or some other show I like. So, for example, if you like Hunter x Hunter, you might figure out a reference here to Killagon. What should I be doing? I should not be attacking them and waking them up. So let's say we do something like... I could use Hybrid Pack to attempt to cast all debuffs on them. So maybe if I can lower their everything else's, like speed, defenses, it seemed to work really well. Now they've got a whole bunch more debuffs up here. I'm pretty safe right now. Let's do things like... I'm not really concerned about dying because they're paralyzed and blinded still. Let's use things like Extinction. If we can at least kill these 2 off pretty fast, then we'll have, There's okay damage. Then we'll be halfway done with the battle. Let's do... Oh, let's exploit the weaknesses. Aeromancy all. So at least we can exploit this weakness in the back. Let's do Meta Heal. on Marion, just to make sure that she's still pretty safe. Notice that my guard is down, but blindness and paralysis goes a pretty long way. Let's just do this again. Let's use Extinction to hit them both. Let's use Double Recoil to hit twice. Let's use Aeromancy All. That one ended up dying. And let's use Meta-Heal All, just to get a little bit, put ourselves in a slightly safer situation. I'm going to switch to Execution here. Now, I'm not using Redemption. Redemption and Execution do the same thing. Massive physical attack on one enemy, but I don't want to lose all my TP in case I need to use like 2 or 3 train platoons back to back. Not dead yet, but that's okay. Let's use Neutral Slot just to finish off the front one. Alright, that did not work. That is not okay. Let's use Brontomancy All. I think I can kill off the front one. I missed. Maybe Nutrimancy All. Can we please hit the front one? Thank you. Okay. So now we're against Ice and Thunder. Now, if you want, you can focus down the front set of 4 first. You don't have to go back and forth between who you're killing. You can totally make that decision. I'm going to use Train Platoon. Again, you can barely see the yellow here to reference the Thunder type. Let's do... Does Neutral Slot? No, it doesn't hit at all. I had forgotten if it was a miss or if it doesn't hit at all, it's not strong enough. Nutrimancy All. Again, I'm losing some magic points, but it's more gradual, and therefore a little bit easier to deal with than just losing 1,000 at a time. Let's see. Let's use Extinction. Neutral Slot is not going to be good. What if we do something like Bullseye? Because Neutral Slot is a strong physical attack, but maybe when we get to very strong, that might be good enough to do damage. Alright, not great. I'm going to keep focusing down the back one's weakness, because this is Ice type back here. How are we on HP? Let's do a little bit of healing just to be safe. Also, each of their attacks say Anima, another reference to anime. I see I'm losing a good amount of magic points. I think I might have Marion use Max Magic All now, because Marion doesn't seem to be doing that much help for us. I see that my guard is down, that could be a little annoying. I'm going to use Alacrity just because I can. I think at this rate I can pretty much use Alacrity for each pair. I'm going to use Ascendancy on my team, because this enemy is confused anyway. And silenced, I guess, based on the fact that he used Muted Massacre. And I took a normal amount of damage from this enemy. Let's use Train Platoon, now that I've got some more magic points. Let's see. Let's use Bullseye on... Maybe I should have used a Thunder attack there. I'm going to use regular Brontomancy, not Brontomancy All, because I want to keep this person confused. I missed. Alright, I'm just going to betray that logic and go for Nutra-Quad All. Or Nutra-Quad, that way I can hit 4 times. The fact that he's blinded and silenced means I still probably don't have to worry about him too much. This is one of the last 2 enemies. He's stronger than the others. So for that reason, maybe I'll leave this front enemy alive, and maybe I'll focus on this back enemy. You might be able to tell if you like popular anime, what combination of 2 names Vego Kuda is. Alright, so let's check the guard. We're good on guard. Let's do something like Extinction. Let's heal Sprig. Let's use Umbra Coda on this light enemy. Nice. And let's just hope that Umbra Quad's RNG hits the back one a few times. Alright, 2-2. That's fair. Muted Massacre. Again, this front one isn't really that helpful in terms of their side of the battle. Good damage from them. And attacking twice. It's a good thing my guard is up. So I'm going to use Train Platoon. I don't want to drop my guard at all costs at this point. Marion. Let's have Marion go with a Metatonic All. I guess I could use Maxatonic. I don't know why I don't bother choosing Maxa all the time, right? And hopefully we can finish off this back one if the Umbra Quad hits well. Didn't even matter. Okay. Let's do Neutra Quad then. See if we can knock this one out. That shouldn't be too difficult. And then one left. Got a little flashing action here. Okay. Dark type. You can see a little bit of purple highlights here. And 4-on-1 should be a lot easier. But what really matters is being able to do light damage. I don't know how good Light Chaos is compared to the physical attacks. Not that great. Sprig and Marion sticking with the physical seems to be better overall. Let's see. Bullseye. Let's just stick to Bullseye. I'm seeing that Sprig's a little bit low on magic points. I might want to do something about that, but I kind of want to see how one round goes against this single character. Missing Lumacoda kind of hurts, but Luma Quad should do good damage. That's some pretty good damage. Especially since he's attacking a total of 8 times. I cannot use Train Platoon. I do not have the magic points for it. So in retrospect, maybe I should have had Marion replenish Sprig's MP. Given that I'm low on MP, let's do something like Meta Magic All. We can play it a little bit safer now. Let's have Marion do replenishing health. Max Atomic All. Let's just get the health boosted all the way back up. The amount of money it costs to buy a couple more Max Atonics is not nearly as high as the amount of money you win in each of these big battles that are worth at least 50,000 gold each. You'll at least get a profit of like 40,000 each time. Wow, Arak got super focused there. Fortunately, we should be able to kill him off here. Good. Alright. So we made it through. And that was just 4-on-1. Arak still got focused down. Alright, let's see. Now we are on Spiral number 11. Spiral number 11, we're definitely going to need some fire necklaces. Fire necklaces. This is going to be a reference to Infernal Inferno. Mero's Soul Medallion piece, where Sprig, Arak, and Marion had gotten lost, or gotten their souls sucked out, and Mero had to beat up some fire baddies. And on top of that, we're also going to use Rage Talismans, because this enemy, the Phoenix we're about to fight, can cast Rage, which is super bad. Definitely not a fan of Rage. You can't even escape if you're enraged, keep in mind. So Fire Necklace, Rage Talismans will set us up for this battle quite nicely. Now it's a Phoenix, so it's once we kill it once, it's going to rise from the ashes, and we'll have to kill it a second time. So just keep that in mind. Alright, let's do Spiral 11. Do you wish to fight? Of course we do. Fire Necklace is going to help immensely here. We'll do some Train Platoon for good measure. Plus, it's not like Sprig has a water attack anyway. You know who does have a water attack? Marion does. And you know who else has a water attack? Mero does. Look at this damage. So good. 15,000 damage done. Seems like a pretty easy battle. Keep in mind we've got to burst this enemy twice, though. So we're going to use some Ascendancy, raise that magic attack of Marion and Mero, so those water spells do even more damage. These can do a ton of damage if they attack the same character multiple times, and if you're not guarded. So we really want to be careful here. Plus, the Phoenix gets to attack a whole bunch of times, too. Train Platoon, we're fine there. I don't need to heal. Let's see if we can do a little bit of damage with something. Maybe something like Execution, just to do a 1,000 or 2 here or there. 5,000 damage, not bad. I mean, it's no water chaos, but still good damage. 1, 2, 4, 3, 7. Look at that. Oh, so good. 15,000 damage? Because math. 22,000 damage. I think even NutriQuad should be good here. I mean, we've got the magic attack increased. Love it, love it, love it. Over 10,000 damage. I'm keeping an eye on my train platoon. I see everyone's down to 1 guard. So my next move here is Sprig is absolutely to use train platoon. That's his job. I mean, he can contribute by doing some more damage from time to time to supplement, but at the end of the day, he needs to make sure that his team doesn't die, at least in this fight. They can take care of the rest here. I'm not really worried about running out of magic points with Marion or Marrow. And maybe not Arak? We'll see. Arak costs a little bit more magic, but he does get magic back, right? He's got a ribbon, I think. Let's see if he gets some magic back. Yeah, he gets 114 back. So if he's using, what, 150 and gets 114 back, he's using, what, 36 magic points? That's nothing. Look at all this damage. So much damage from the Phoenix. Alright, guard is good. Let's do execution. I don't think we're in any danger of dying right now. Although next turn, I'm pretty sure Sprig's gonna have to use some sort of healing item just to be safe. I could have Arak do it, but I'd much rather have Arak use, like, NutriQuad. Will Hydromancy kill? Because that'd be nice. Bam. And now we see it again. Actually, rather than using NutriQuad, he's going to use Ascendancy again, because we're running low on the magic attack increases. So now Marion and Marrow won't have to do any less damage at all. I'm worried about Arak. I'm really worried about Arak. Whew. Okay. Maxitonic or Maxitonic All. Again, might as well just use it on both. I don't know if Sprig was going to die anytime soon, but again, why risk it? Now, if someone dies, it's not necessarily the end of the world, but you might have to scramble a little bit just to get back on track. It might take 1 or 2 entire rounds to do that. Because if Sprig gets knocked out, then who's using Train Platoon? If Arak gets knocked out, then who is able to heal the rest of the party? At least more than, like, your items. So, pretty much each ally in most battles contributes something useful enough that you'd rather not have them die. Even if it's just to be the person to give a new item. Watching Arak again, that's not good. Right? I think it's fair to say we played this... Oh, am I out of platoon? I might have missed the guard. That might have been why we just died. I'm looking at this, I see that they're not in their guard anymore. So now there's a little bit of scrambling. I'm going to use Train Platoon on 3, but I still have to heal Arak. If for no other reason, because if I keep Arak dead, then Phoenix's attacks are only going to be focused on 3 allies, which means each of these 3 allies are going to take more damage on average than if it was spread out across 4 allies. So even if I heal Arak and he dies again, that would on average be a little bit better than not attempting to heal him at all. Because I don't want these 3 to get whittled down either. What else can we do? I could try to do something like Alacrity to mess with the Phoenix, but at the same time, let's use Maxitonic and just see what happens here. Arak is not on his guard, but he does have full HP, so let's see what happens. I'm hoping, again, for a relatively even distribution of hits. Right now it's been focused on Sprig and Arak. I'm hoping Marrow and Marion get the hits, though. I think 1 more hit. Okay, so we made it. I'm just going to play it super safe. I'm going to use Train Platoon again. Even though they're at 2 shields, I need Arak to get shielded also. As far as Marion goes, we're going to increase our agility. As far as Marrow goes, we are going to... I swear I had an idea of what I wanted Marrow to do. I'm going to try using Alacrity, just to see if we can mess with him at all. That's what I was going to do. Nothing. So no help there. That's okay. As far as Arak, I'm going to use Maxi Heal All. I have the magic points for it. I looked at that ahead of time. If I didn't have the magic points for it, I would have had Marrow or Marion just replenish magic point. I'm noticing that Sprig is low on magic, That's not good, considering he has to have that Train Platoon ability. Look at this TP, though, right? You pretty much get full TP all the time if you need it. Since I am still on team player like I was for most of the game. Alright, I was able to survive that pretty easily. We can go back to things like the water attacks. Now, Iraq hasn't boosted magic attack in a while. With Sprig, I'm going to heal... Do I need to heal anyone else's magic points? Let's just do it for the heck of it. Heal the magic points too. For Marrow, let's use a water attack. For Sprig, I'm going to risk not healing, because I think I'm in a good place right now. I'm going to use Ascendancy. That way we can deal some more serious water damage. Sometimes it's hard to switch from the defensive back to offensive. Like the scrambling of 1 or 2 or 3 rounds. You need to make sure you're not permanently kept on the defensive. Sometimes you need to take a chance and do things like boosting your attack instead of doing a heal. Sometimes it doesn't pay off. In this case, it seemed to be just fine. I'm keeping an eye on my shieldings here. I see that guard 1 left, turn left, guard 1 turn, and guard 1 turn left here. I need to use Train Platoon right now, or else Marrow and Iraq will be off their guard when Phoenix attacks again. But now I think we're in a pretty good spot. In fact, I think we're in such a good spot, I can play a little bit more greedy and use NutriQuad. I don't think I need to do the heals. Wildfire, that's a rough one. Especially since it attacks 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then I don't even know how many times it hits per person. Is it 8 or something? I think it's 8. So 8 times 4, you're doing 32 hits. Now, guarded times 32 is way better, because you're taking half the damage. Now, we're getting closer to the end here. I'm looking at my Train Platoon. I'm good here with the Train Platoon. I'm going to have Sprig be the one to use a heal. It's not going to be a full heal, it's just a Maxitonic. But, you know, it's 1,000. That should be fine. 1,000 difference before Iraq gets to full. So, Iraq can use NutriQuad. The next round should kill off the Phoenix. I shouldn't need to use Train Platoon again. In fact, it shouldn't even be Sprig's turn. I'm pretty sure Water Chaos will do it. I'll take Blazing Talons way more frequently. Like, I'll take Blazing Talons over Wildfire any day of the week. Can we finish this battle? Yes, we finished the battle. Whew. Okay. Couple more. 50,000 gold obtained. Do we get the level up? I didn't even notice. We did not get the level up, so we definitely want to heal. We want to go back now to 12. Save the game, because that was a long one. Save the game all the time. As far as Spiral 12 goes, this is going to be a reference to Stimfy Station. If you remember, with Stimfy Station, Iraq versed Queen Qualia Quesnelia with the trivia. So that's essentially what we're going to be worrying about here. I'm pretty sure that in terms of the best things to equip yourself with, ice necklaces, I think, and silence talismans are going to be the best here. Now, does it guarantee you win? Of course not. Will it make your life a little bit easier? Probably. These are just the types of elements and status ailments they tend to be more likely to use. You'll see that we're going to verse an ice and a thunder enemy, actually. Alright, let's fight this one. This will be a shorter battle than the last one, thankfully. That Phoenix one can take a while, especially if someone dies. So, here's the setup. We've got a king in the back that we can't actually deal direct damage to. King Kismet Keeper. We've got Ninjice and Thenobi. My general strategy is to ignore the Thunder one completely. You can take out the Thunder enemy if you want, but the way you defeat the king is by killing the Ice one. I think it's every 20,000 damage the Ice monster takes, you get another trivia question. And you can't miss any. You have to actually go 5 for 5 on the trivia questions to knock the king down to 0. Whereas in Stimfy Station, you had like 12 questions. You had to get like 8 out of 12 or something. So we want to focus down Ninjice, and he takes a good amount of thunder damage, which is kind of nice. It won't take like forever, but again, I'm still going to train Platoon. I'm still going to worry about debuffs and status ailments. But we're going to focus on doing as much thunder damage to this ice enemy as much as possible. Ninja started with 100,000 HP. Every time he loses an additional 20,000 HP, I'll ask you one question. If you correctly guess the answer, then I will concede one of my 5 HP. There is no room for error, and you cannot win unless you defeat me. Here's your first question. What is the name of Marion's daughter? There are some family references here, some friend references here. The answer is Marion. That's an easy one. Well done. 1 down, 4 to go. Let us resume the fight. We're going to do Ascendancy again, because again, we want to do that thunder damage. Sometimes we can do so much damage that we actually hit Ninjice down 2 trivia question levels in one shot. Not necessarily guaranteed, though. They've been buffed pretty well now. I'm not really taking that much damage. It's not that hard to stay alive. The trivia questions are actually the hard part. Ninjice has lost an additional 20,000 HP. As you can see here, he dipped under 60 grand now. So it is time for your second question. What is the name of Wally's son? And the reason why this trivia battle is tough is because there are some fake questions here, or fake answers, or however you want to call it. There are some troll trivia questions. There is no answer to Wally's son. As far as, I don't know, my game goes, as far as canon goes, Wally doesn't have a son. I don't know if I'll make a sequel. Maybe Wally will have a son. I don't know. But there's no correct answer here. It doesn't matter what you pick, you will be marked wrong. Beep, 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 beep. I'm sorry, but that answer is incorrect. We can keep battling for fun, I guess, but there aren't enough questions left for you to eliminate all of my remaining HP. So, if you interpret that response as, oh, I guess he's just being helpful, maybe I should just replay the match and, try a different answer, you would be wasting your time. It is just a matter of you just have to answer all 5 of the questions. None of them have to be correct. In fact, the first question we just did, about how Marion is Marion's daughter, you could have picked the wrong answer for that too, and you would still be able to beat this game, beat this battle. All you have to do is just get to the 5th trivia question and answer it however you want, and King Kismet Keeper will kill himself. Ninjice has lost an additional 20,000 HP, so now we just dipped below 40,000 HP. The special weapon Mythic Saber is imbued with which element? There is no Mythic Saber. That's not a weapon in my game. Doesn't matter which answer choice you pick, you get it quote-unquote marked wrong. Wrong again. You're surprisingly bad at trivia. I don't remember ever seeing a Mythic Saber. Yeah, I've certainly never used one before. Some of these questions are really specific. I wonder if we could just find all the answers online. Well, I guess if you're watching this YouTube video, you are kind of doing that. I don't mind continuing the fight, even if we already know the outcome. I have nothing better to do. And how are we doing here? Let's just use a good old-fashioned Nutrimancy on Ninjice. I don't really need to even heal that much. I got the guard up. I might even be able to finish this battle without even needing to use Train Platoon again. They're going to attack a few times. They do have pretty fast speed because they're buffed. Alright, let's see if we get 1 or 2 trivia questions left. I don't know if this will one-shot Ninjice. Okay. Ninjice has lost an additional 20,000 HP, so it is time for your 4th question. Which of the following skills is imbued by all 8 elements? So there is an answer to this one. It is Pandemoctium. Pandemoctium and Octagony would fit into these categories. The other ones don't. So anyone who's unsure of this might end up second-guessing themselves further. Like, man, maybe there was an answer to the 2nd and 3rd trivia questions that I just didn't know, because there is an answer to the 4th one. Bravo! So, 3 HP left is the best you can have at this point anyway. Alright, here we go. Suit yourself if you want to keep going. And now we'll just finish off the Ninja. So you don't need to do anything to Thanobi. He can make the battle a little bit easier if you care, but it's not a huge deal. Ninjice has finally been defeated, so it's time for your last question. Since you can't actually win, let me give you a really easy question to end on a high note. What does 1 plus 1 equal? 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Exclamation point, by the way, is a math symbol, is factorial. A factorial in math, when you have a whole number, and then with an exclamation point, That means, or that corresponds to, that whole number times each lower and lower whole number until you get down to 1. So like 5 exclamation point is represented as 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which is 120, aka 5 factorial. All of these answers are equivalent to 2. You can't actually pick a wrong answer. It doesn't matter which one you pick. You get it right, and King Kismet Keeper accidentally kills everyone anyway. So everyone dies. Whoops. Well, this is awkward. I guess you win. Bam. So you can beat that battle pretty fast if you're just focusing down the ice enemy and just picking whatever answer choice you want. You can answer them all wrong, and he'll still do 999 damage to himself. We've completed the top 3 rows. We have 13, 14, and 15 left in this episode. I imagine this episode's going to be a long one. And then we're going to take a break and do the final episode. We'll do the final spiral another episode because I'm also getting a little tired. Spiral 13. For this, we're going to need some light necklaces and paralysis talismans. I believe that'll be the best combo here. I have beaten every single one of these spirals without these ideal setups, so I know it's possible to win without like light necklaces or without paralysis talismans. But in most cases, to be fair, I am still using Train Platoon, as well as some other very, very careful strategies. Alright, let's verse, I think it's Goldrelia. Goldrelia? Here we go. We gotta take the first hit before we can Train Platoon. Blindness is not good, but blindness isn't as bad as paralysis, at least in my opinion, mainly because Train Platoon can still be done. Train Platoon will not miss, but if you're paralyzed, you might be paralyzed from using that attack, or from using that defensive skill. Alright, let's get focused on what we want to do. I think Goldrelia is weak to both water and dark, because Goldrelia is both fire and light, but the attacks are mostly light. That's why I used a light necklace as opposed to a fire necklace. Let's start off with doing things like... Alright, you know what, let's just use a regular Water Chaos, just to get a benchmark for how much damage we'll be doing. That's good damage. There's only one Goldrelia, she doesn't respawn like Phoenix does. Let's do things like Chimera Pack. Let's do Train Platoon, of course. And, hello, Umbra Quad. I want to use Umbra Quad, but I really want to boost magic first. That's going to be some seriously good damage using dark and water attacks. Sprig is pretty much useless in terms of doing offensive damage here, because you can't do water or dark. So I'm going to keep Sprig on healing and training platooning and anything else that's defensive for now, because he's blinded anyway, so why bother risking a turn and missing? Water Chaos. Good damage. Okay, about 9,000 damage. Umbra Quad. Wow. Wow, look at that. Oh, that was like 48,000 damage. Could have been, 64 or something like that. Let's use Umbra Coda. I'm just realizing I didn't raise the magic attack of everyone. What did I do? Did I I must have misclicked somewhere. Let's Train Platoon to be safe. What did I do? I actually literally forgot what I did with Iraq. I thought I did Ascendancy to boost everyone's magic attack. Maybe I just... Maybe I ran out? Or maybe I just boosted Sprigs or something. I don't know. But we're gonna boost everyone's magic attack again. Definitely getting tired. I think it's hard enough to rally through all of these battles, back to back to back to back, but it's additionally hard to talk about the thought process and not make too many mistakes, because obviously you can see with a lot of my play, it's not bad, but it's probably not perfect. And it's very, very easy for me to make a misstep. I think we're okay right now. Let's actually just try a regular attack. Execution. Almost 5,000. Oh, hold on. Maybe I didn't make the mistake. I'm pretty sure... I think I should have this memorized as the game developer, but I'm pretty sure one of Goldrelia's attacks removes our buffs. If you were to rewind, I'm pretty sure that when Goldrelia hits one of these buffed allies, that the magic attack boost disappears. I think that's what's been going on. I feel like I've been gaslighting myself in terms of, like, I swear I'm raising magic attack, but nothing seems to be sticking. So, you know what? Let's use Umber Quad. Let's at least get the boosted magic attack here. 15, 15, 14, and a miss. Okay. Fire and Flame. That buffs Goldrelia. Train Platoon. Hello. Very important. Will I have enough for another Train Platoon? I will. So I want to keep an eye on my magic points there. Umber Coda. Umber Coda is generally going to be better than Hydromancy, because Hydromancy does strong. All the Mancies do strong magic damage, like Umbermancy, whereas Umber Coda does massive. So as long as I've got the magic points, I'm using Coda over Mancy. Maybe it's Frazzle that removes it, I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, okay, Frazzle removed the magic attack. Alright, Umber Quad. Let's just stick with Umber Quads, Water Chaoses, Umbra Codas, and then Sprig either training platoons or whatever else we need to do. Goldrelia is halfway dead. Oh. Still on our guard for another round. I'm going to use this opportunity to give myself more magic. I'm not worried about anyone else running out of magic, except for Sprig with the training platoon. Everyone else is still has over half the magic points, yet Goldrelia has... Oh, come on. I was going to say only half the... I was going to say less than half the HP, which I guess is accurate now. So at this rate, maybe Marion and Marrow get really close to running out of MP, but I don't think they're going to run out of MP. As you can see here, the HP ribbons make me pretty much impervious. I think Sprig has fewer HP ribbons, which is why he's actually starting to take some damage. But again, in the grand scheme of things, not a huge deal. Especially if Goldrelia goes a turn or two focusing on Marion or Marrow as opposed to Sprig. That buys Sprig a little time to regain some HP. Alright. Heaven's Fates. Perhaps a reference to Heaven's Gate by Fallout Boy? I think we can just use a regular attack here. We'll still have enough for 2, perhaps even eventually 3 train platoons. I don't think we'll even need 3 train platoons. We're gonna be she's gonna be at like 100,000 HP pretty soon. Heaven's Fate just hits once, which is great. It does lower physical defense and magic defense, as you can see here, which is a problem, obviously, if Marrow gets hit again. But we're doing so much good damage. I'm keeping an eye on these guard levels. I'm going to do a train platoon now because I've got the magic points. The training platoon reminds me a little bit of... in Quest 64, there's a skill that basically makes you win the game called Magic Barrier, where if it successfully works, you can basically become invincible for 2 or 3 turns. The problem is that a lot of times it misses, and so winning the game ends up being a little bit more RNG dependent, which is a little frustrating. Focusing on the damage. I am aware that Marrow is low on HP. I don't need to do this, but I've got the items. Frazzle. Let's see if Marrow's going to get hit again. Nope, Marrow would have been fine. And either way, we still would have had Marion and Iraq clean up Goldrelia. I think... yeah, I don't think Goldrelia is going to get to go a second time. Or another time. Nice damage. Alright, level 7. 2 more battles, and then we're calling it a day. As far as Spiral 14 goes, all of these are 13, 14, 15 are new enemies. They're not references to anything else in the game. As far as Spiral 14 goes, we're going to keep on the Paralysis Talismans. Those will be useful. And additionally, it doesn't really matter as far as elements go. Like, we can just keep on the Light Necklace. The 2 enemies we're about to verse are not elemental imbued at all. The only difference is one's a little bit weaker to magic, while one's a little bit weaker to physical damage. Not a great way to start, but let's use some boosts. Luck is down. I don't really care about that. Let's see if Alacrity will actually do anything to them. Nothing. Does nothing to them. I'm pretty sure Alacrity does nothing to the next battler as well. Train Platoon, 100%. And let's just get a heal off, just to be safe. Let's just use a regular basic meta heal on Marion. Let's just restart this battle, basically, but with Train Platoon on. It'll be a little bit easier to deal with. Tygon Slot. Now, in terms of defense, it does more damage to use a magic attack on the turtle back here, the Distortors. And it does more damage to do physical attacks on this tiger in front, the Philodeity. Now, that being said, you might just want to completely focus on one first, and then focus on the other one after. Whatever works best for you. I'm going to do... let's see, I was thinking about... let's see if Death by Dozen Cuts is any good. So I'm going to go ahead and say no. Now, to be fair, that one has higher physical defense. It might have done damage to Philodeity, but we're not entirely sure yet. But maybe we focus on using the magic on the back. Do some damage. Let's say we do... I want to use Death by Dozen Cuts again, just to see if we can actually hit this one. Okay, so if you can pull off Death by Dozen Cuts on the front enemy, then you'll be rewarded with a good amount of damage. That pretty much only requires, though, that we kill the Distortors first. So this takes like 1600 damage versus 2000 damage, or 3000 with a crit. I guess critical hit is like 50% more. Alright, let's try something else. I actually want to try... I'm going to use Harness Devastation. Harness Devastation allows my regular attack to just act as a devastation, where I attack 4 times. So, I'll elaborate on that when I actually attack with Marion again. I'm going to use Train Platoon again, just to be super safe. In terms of them being at 1 shielding left. So, train 1 ally to temporarily use their basic physical attack 4 times in a row on a single enemy. So how Devastation does 4 random, this allows you to attack 4 times in a row regularly. So like 1 auto attack, like 1 automatic attack 4 times in a row. It doesn't cost any magic points after you cast it on yourself. And it lasts for a bunch of turns, like 5 turns. Let's use Nutriquad again. I don't think Iraq's going to get killed, but who knows? Turtle Annihilation. Shrewd Shred. Hopefully Shrewd Shred and Tygon Slot doesn't do too much damage to Iraq. I think we're fine for now. These enemies might kind of be taking damage at around the same time. Like, kind of equally dispersed in terms of who's taking damage. I don't think we're necessarily focusing down one of them first, and then focusing down the second one after. We are fine with Train Platoon. We're going to use a Maxitonic on Iraq. I think we might be fine for now. Let's see. This battle is definitely one where I could work on coming up with a better strategy. Also one where Mero doesn't die. Umbracoda. We're going to skip Marion's attacking phase just to heal Mero a little bit, or a lot of it. Hopefully Mero doesn't get focused down again, or I think... Well, let's see what happens. Got the guard up. This is fine. It's spread out across 4 enemies. That's not bad at all. Let's see. We're going to do Train Platoon again, because Marion's guard is down. We're going to do Meta Heal All. Maybe I should just entirely focus on one enemy. I think I'm going to entirely focus on the back enemy, which prefers getting hit by magic, but regardless of what move I'm going to make, I'm just going to keep attacking the back enemy at this point. So I think things will be a lot easier once we move on from having to verse 2 enemies to just 1 enemy. Let's do Execution. I'll still have enough magic points for another Train Platoon if I need to. Missing is not ideal. Let's use NutriQuad again. Obviously, I'd like to hit the back one as much as possible. But even if I hit once or twice, it's still worth it. Poison damage. Let's see what else we can do. Let's do one more of these. It's not a bad move if you're low on magic points. We're not low on magic points, but it's still some damage. Okay, so in terms of doing damage, Mero seems to be doing the most damage. Maybe I'll have Marion do a little bit of healing next turn. That way, no one else has to do the heals. Train Platoon again. He's going to need more magic points after this. Arak, let's stick with the quads. I think the next battle might end up being a little bit faster than this one. This might end up being actually my least favorite battle. But it certainly is draining. We're good on guard. Okay. Oh, I do need to get more magic points. I'll have Marion give Sprig more magic points next turn. If I remember. I feel like when I speedrun this game, this battle is going to be a little frustrating because it's going to take so long. We need to use a max of magic on Sprig now because he's going to have to recast Train Platoon soon. Actually, next. Hoping Sprig doesn't get hit too hard here because he's got the least amount of HP, and we seem to be fine. If you play this game and you find a way to kill these 2 enemies really fast, or a different strategy, or a strategy for beating any enemy or any battle in the entire game faster or better than what I'm doing, please let me know. I'm always interested in trying to figure out new strategies. We're still on our guard. We're going to need to heal. So Marion will be on Max Atomic All duty, while I still attempt to take down the Distortors. trying to make sure that I remember to use the tonics for the healing HPs and the magics for the healing MPs, because mixing up Max of Tonic and Max of Magic could be a pretty serious waste of a turn. I think we're okay for now. We're good on our guards. So let's use an attack just to do a little bit more damage, even if it's just like 1,000. Okay, 3,000. Nutra-Quad again. And even with this being a very long battle, Marion, Marrow, and Arak are still hanging in there as far as magic points is concerned. Let's do another Maxitonic All. Are we out of Maxitonic Alls? We are. Okay, so I need to take that into consideration. I can just buy more. But that means I might want to prefer using Arak to heal. Or just using a single Maxitonic. Yikes. So Maxitonic on Marrow. How are we on guard? We have lost our guard. Train Platoon. Nutra-Quad. Hoping it can hit the enemy in the back a good amount of times. Alright. One more hit. Hopefully. Wow. Alright, you know what? We're just going to make sure he's dead. Please don't miss. Alright, so things can move a little bit more quickly now, because like Quad, for example, is going to always focus down the same enemy, although we really want to be using physical attacks. We're good on guard. Execution. Physical attacks against this Philodeity is going to be ideal. We're also going to... We're going to do a heal here, just to be super safe. I think Meta Heal should do the trick. Tiger Onslaught, again, is ideal, as opposed to the Shrewd Shred attack, because it's more likely for it to be spread out across multiple enemies, or multiple allies. Maybe I use Maxi Thwack instead of a Coda. Maxi Thwack is a strong physical, or massive physical. Let's go with... I don't want to use the recoils. I don't want to lose. I don't want to sacrifice HP, especially because something like Shrewd Shred can just finish off one of our characters pretty easily. I'm going to need to trade in Platoon. Next turn. I'm in a little bit of a precarious position here. We are going to do this. I'm going to use this turn to give everyone magic. I'm going to use Marrow's turn to use Chimera Pack. That way we're all super buffed. I'm going to use Arak's turn to meta heal himself. And Marion can do whatever she wants, really. Let's just use Bullseye. Good damage. I'll just stick with Bullseye for Marion. Magic Enlightenment isn't bad. Maxi Thwack is massive physical attack. Lumacoda is massive magic attack. Now her magic attack is higher, though, in general, than her physical attack attribute, so maybe I should just stick to Lumacoda. Alright, let's just stick to that. We need to train Platoon. We need Marion to heal herself. Using Maxitonic. And Arak can use his Nutra-Quads. Again, using Nutra over Luma or Umbra, just because it costs less magic points. Fewer magic points, sorry, not less. 2,000, 2,000, 3,000, 2,000, okay. Yeah, critical hits do 50% more damage. I think at some point I wasn't sure if it was double or just 50%. It's 50%, it seems. Alright, this is going to be much faster now. I could... You know what? Let's just do it. There we go. Using double or triple recoil before you can get the kill off in that battle is really risky, though. Because just one or two hits from the turtle or tiger could just finish you off, and then it might not be worth it. Alright, one more battle today. I just need to get through this. As far as Spiral 15 goes, we're going to use... It uses different attacks. It uses 4 different attacks. One attack is fire and water damage. One attack is ice and thunder. One attack is wind and earth. And one attack is light and dark. Now, of those 4 different types of attacks, one of them just hits once for a lot of damage. One hits twice for, a slightly less amount of damage. One hits 3 times, and one hits 4 times for progressively less damage. Out of those 4 situations, I find that the fire-water combo attack is the one that, not that I have to worry about the most, but I benefit the most from wearing fire and water necklaces, just based on the randomness of those hits. And so, without further ado, let's verse Spiral number 15. This is the Bellamentalist. And by the way, since he attacks with all 8 elements, yikes, not a good way to start off. Okay, so what can we do about this? We're going to revive. So, by the way, he absorbs all 8 elements. You have to use neutral attacks, so the ultimate weapons are fine, because they're not element imbued. Or you can use neutral attacks like Nutra-Coda and Nutra-Quad, which are great too. So my order of 3 here, I'm going to do a revive. Revive plus is fine, why not? Then I'm going to use a Train Platoon, which is great because now all 4 allies are conscious, which means they'll all get the Train Platoon for the guard. And then finally, we're going to use a Meta Heal on Marion. So now we're restarting the battle, so to speak, with basically full HP. Ice Thunder Integration. This will hit 3 times? Okay, now what are some things I can do here? I can start with a Bullseye. 4,000 damage, not bad. I'm going to use Chimera Pack to boost up pretty strong. Take some hits, Light Dark Link. Alright, what else do I want to do here? We are fully boosted. Iraq took some damage. You know what, let's start... I don't want to use the recoils yet. I don't know if Death by a Dozen Cuts will be worthwhile. Let's use Execution. It's a neutral attack because my weapon is not imbued. You can see just how much damage you're capable of doing. 200,000 HP, it's a good amount, but this battle I think should still be faster than the last battle. The problem is, again, it can do an unreliably large... it can do a very volatile amount of damage. I wonder if this is going to be my longest episode. We were making good timing through the first, 10 spirals we did today. Just this last row is pretty killer. We're good on our guard? We're not quite good on our guard, because there's one left, so those will disappear. So this is a job for Train Platoon. As far as Marion goes, let's just stick to the Bullseye. Iraq, I'm really loving the Nutra-Claw, especially with the increased magic attack. Pretty good. It can do around 12,000 damage. It did 11,000 there. We do get to go twice here because the Bellamentalist is just a little bit slower, it seems. I don't want to use any elemental attacks. Nutramancy doesn't really do that much. Nutramancy versus Max with Whack. Let's do Max with Whack because it is a massive amount of damage. It's not terrible. By the way, every 25% of HP lost, which we just hit, it uses Kaleidoscope. I think that's an automatic boost of everything, as you can see here. So, we're about to get wrecked in terms of damage. I forgot to get more Maxotonic Alls. This is actually going to be a little bit of an issue. We're on our guard. Let's do the best we can. We're going to use Extinction again, or Execution again. But I'm pretty sure we're about to take a good amount of damage. The idea here is to generally try to outlast the 3 buffed turns at the 75% mark, the 50% mark, and the 25% mark. Which, okay, we were able to do. The one drawback of not having the Maxitonic items is that pretty much forces Arak to be doing the healing, because he can heal way more than, like, Metatonics can. Which can be pretty frustrating. How are we on our guard? We're gonna need to guard again. Well, we'll see. Let's use Bullseye. Let's use... I feel like we're gonna have to use heals just to be safe. Let's use Meta Heal All. And we've got a bunch of debuffs on us. Maybe I should have had Arak use Citadel, actually. But let's at least temporarily counter that with Chimera Pack. It's not the same as being on your guard, but at least you get some good buffs. Hopefully Marion doesn't get hit too hard. Okay, it was just one hit, and that was the Fire Water one, I think. Alright, let's see what we can keep doing. Guard time. Bullseye. Light Dark Link, that's okay. Final episode won't be as long as this episode, I'm fairly confident. Oh, Marion's attacking more frequently than the others, because she has faster agility, which is why her guard ends up getting dropped more quickly. You see, like, 3 guards here versus 1 guard. That inconsistency can be pretty frustrating, I think. It can be a little annoying. Marrow. Let's do... Maxi Thwap. Marion. I think for Marion, we're just going to risk her taking a shot when she's not on her guard. We're just going to deal with it. Which, I'm not sure if it's greedy, I'm not sure if it's lazy, because I'm getting a little tired. Or I'm not sure if it's just a good strategy, but I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, she has full HP, so it's about as good as we're going to expect. Stick with Execution, that way I can keep my TP. I'll have over 500 magic points for another Train Platoon if I need. And if Marion doesn't get hit at all, it's not a big deal anyway. I think this just hits 3 times. You'll see with each of the double element attacks, there's representation of both elements. So like, in that Ice Thunder attack, there were icicles, but they were yellow, and I have both sound effects for Ice and Thunder. The same thing goes with the Fire Water, and the Earth Wind, and the Light Dark. Let's go with... How are we on our guard? No one is guarding right now, and Sprig is up next. Or Sprig isn't up next. So I'm going to have... Let me check something. Oops. If I do Removing Charm, I can at least see what their debuffs and buffs are. Okay, we're going to use Chimera Pack again. Just to outlast the fact that we don't have guard a little bit more. And Metatonic All is what we are going to need to go with. And we're just going to have to be okay with this. Alright, this looks doable. What else? Let's use NutriQuad. Alright, we'll use Train Platoon last here before I forget. Okay, there's another buff because we're halfway done. So, on average, we'll be doing a little bit less damage, he'll be doing a little bit more damage. I'm going to use this opportunity to plant a Maxi-Magic All on everyone. Just because it's a reasonably good use of the turn right now. There's not much else I can do at the moment. Or that I'd prefer to do at the moment. Fire Water Fusion, remember that does half the damage, by the way, because I do have a Fire or Water Necklace on. That would normally do 10,000 damage, to be clear. I just got... Well, I'm guarded also. So guarding is 50% off. So I took 5,000 damage. I would have taken 10,000 damage if guard wasn't on, or maybe like 9,000, and that would have been doubled further if I didn't have the necklace on. So the fact that it's such a large one-shot attack is essentially why I have I choose that necklace over any of the other elements. I prefer having the water or fire necklace. 3,000 damage for basically no magic. I'm hoping Sprig doesn't get hit too hard here, because Sprig's a little bit low on HP, but I'm cool with... Alright, a rat getting hit isn't great, but I'd like Mero to get hit. Alright, what next? I'm going to use a Maxitonic on Arak, because I want Arak to be able to use NutriQuad. NutriQuad seems to be about as good as any other attack we've been using. That's not good. Okay, so we're going to do Revive Plus. I know the Elementalist is going to attack again, so Sprig might get knocked out a second time, especially because he's not on a guard anymore. But we really would like Sprig to stay alive, because he's going to need to use guard soon. Alright, that happened again. This sometimes happens. And it looks like the Elementalist goes again. Fire Warder Fusion. 7,000 damage. Alright, we survived. So now we go for the heals. We'll do Meta Heal All. You'll see it's a little bit frustrating that Sprig doesn't get to go use Platoon. We're going to use a single Metatonic, because we have plenty of those here. And for Mero, we're going to use Chimera Pack to make us a little bit more resilient to everything. Increasing the magic defense and the physical defense does go a good way. Does go a pretty long way. All right, the guard wasn't up, but the defense was up. Again, we're back to train Platoon. He's still got 68,000 HP left. NutriQuad. I think we're in a position where we can go back to doing this. Good damage here. Really good damage here. And that's the final quarter. Let's use... I'm going to use Metatonic. Just to be safe. Now we can use things like Bullseye. We can use things like Execution. Let me make sure my guard is up. Guard. Okay. I was waiting to make sure we had, like, at least, ideally 2 turns for guard. Almost done. Again, neutral. We don't want to heal with an element. I wonder how many times I keep repeating myself. Like when I rewatch this video, if it's going to look super cringe because I am being super tired and just saying things that don't need to be said. We're so close. Just as long as we don't get double hit with this. Okay. Alright, we're living. 13,000 left. Maybe Arak's NutriQuad can finish this off. I think it's going to happen. Let's go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Do we get level 8? Wow, how disrespectful. Not even level 8. 50,000 gold obtained. Definitely going to save the game right now. And again, if you click on it, it'll say, now you get more 4,500,000 experience and 50,000 gold. So, before I turn off the episode, I am going to go get some more items. One of the reasons why some of the battles have been taking a little bit longer is because I really haven't been using my stat boosting items or anything like that either. So let's just max out on all these. That never hurts. I still have almost 600,000 gold. So let's see what are some things I can do with that. I have ribbons. I don't need any more ribbons. Obviously, I can swap out MP for HP or TP or whatever if I feel the need. But I'm feeling pretty confident with this setup right now. HP Maxi Amulets are consistent. I'm fine with the other gear I'm holding. So all that's left to do, pretty much, is to spend this money on stat boosting items. That's kind of the point of having the ultimate levels here. I'm thinking I spend it all on HP way-ups, honestly. By the way, these stat boosting items are not limited by they're not limited by 10. All the other gear, weapons, armor in the game, even the other items like casting poison or curing poison, those are maxed at 10. But these stat boosting items, I purposely allowed you to have up to 99 at any one time. That way, if you forget to use your stat boosting items as you're leveling up in all your alpha and omega classes, you can still go back and use like your 50 of them. So with that being said, let's just use a whole bunch of HP way ups. And let's just boost the HP significantly. Not only will that help in terms of having more health, but the ribbons that restore HP regenerate 5% HP. And so if you've got more hit points, 5% of a larger number is more than 5% of a smaller number. Because math. So let's use all of these stat boosting items. This is just a general physical attack up, not a big deal. Magic attack up. What we really care about is using the the way ups. So here we go. As far as HP way up goes, let's see. Let's make it kind of equitable. So we've got 8 left. That's not bad. MP way up. Remember, increasing your magic points is useful for pretty much everyone here, and quite frankly, I'm about to sink this into Sprig, because Sprig has the lowest MP anyway. I'm pretty sure I didn't give him as many MP boosting items earlier, and he's the one who keeps running out of magic points because of Train Platoon. As far as physical attack being way up, I'm liking Sprig or Marion here. Marion is probably more likely to use physical attacks, just because every third attack of Sprig's has to be used up by Train Platoon. But let's just split it evenly. Because Sprig also has some more reliable physical attacks too. Physical defense way up. Before I get to those, let's do the magic attacks. Just going to split those through 2 ways. Now for these, I'm just going to take a look at the current statuses of these allies of mine. Looking at physical defense, I see 212, 177, 149, 179. So I need to raise the physical defense of Mero. As far as magic defense goes, 177, 162, 198, 180. So maybe like 1 for Sprig and 2 for Marion, if I can remember all that. So I need to raise the physical defense of Mero, I think I said. Let's just use it all. And magic defense, what did I say? Is it 1 and 2? It doesn't matter. That's fine. And then agility and luck. Let's see how they're doing in terms of agility and luck. Let's do luck first. 72. You'll see their luck's really ramped up now that they're in the ultimate level. 72, 84, 79, 80. So they're all around the same. By the time they hit like 1 or 2 more levels, they'll be in like the 90s anyway. So let's give like at least 2 to Sprig and maybe some to Mero. How many do I have? We have a lot. This increases by 10. So let's just go 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. That's pretty equitable, I think. 102. So he's already maxed on luck. Unless your luck gets decreased, which is pretty unlikely. You should have over 100% chance of committing a critical hit. I don't think there's variance or variation in that. I'm pretty sure you're guaranteed to get crits now. 94, 89, 90. So we're in pretty good shape. Any more luck ups can just finish up Marion, Mero, and Iraq. Let me check agility now. Is anyone like really slow? 201, 258, 236, 190. They're not really slow. Iraq will go after Sprig. I'm going to have Iraq go before Sprig. And this happens most of the time. It's not perfect, but usually it's based on this agility here. Other things during the match can change your agility at any one time. So for example, if Marion is using a skill that forces her to wait a little bit to charge her attack, that'll affect turn order, as well as some other things. But I would like Sprig to go after Iraq. That way, Iraq can do a revive before Sprig comes back to... Iraq can do a revive, and then Sprig can use a train platoon on the person who was just revived, as well as the rest of the party. So I'd like to have Iraq's agility higher. So let's see what this looks like. Let's do something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Will that be good enough? It's not a big deal if it doesn't work out perfectly. Agility 30, 230 versus 221. Okay, so in general, it should be the case that Marion tends to go first, then Marrow, then Iraq, then Sprig. And I've got some more money, which I can use on other things if I want, but I'll just hold on to that for the time being. Gold statue. As far as what I want to equip for this final battle, because for all I know, I might end up forgetting to look at my equipment afterwards. I think I tend to like using dark necklaces in this last one, because Umbra Coda can hit pretty hard. And sleep talismans also, because Torpor Trigger, which Sprig has, can put us all to sleep, which isn't great. There are, obviously, with Alacrity, there's a whole bunch of other... Actually, maybe I should do Rage. You know what? This might end up forcing us to do a redo, but let's try this. I'm going to save the game. I'm done. I will see you for episode 20, the final episode next time. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more clips about Mango Mischief, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. The Steam link for my game, as well as all Mango Mischief social media links, are posted in this video's description. I think you'll enjoy my satirical, retro-style, turn-based JRPG, and if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments section below. Thanks!